staff, and community impacted by the events of yesterday. The Nashville School Violence Support and Healing Fund is a new charitable fund that addresses school mass violence incidents on school grounds or during school events in Davidson County. The fund will support students, faculty, and their families who are directly impacted by these tragedies, actively raising money to assist victims of the Antioch High School shooting. To make a donation, anyone can go online to cfmt.org/Nashville Healing or reach it directly from the homepage, cfmt.org. Now I want to introduce Dr. Adrienne Battle for a look at additional resources and updates for the community from Metro Nashville Public Schools. Dr. Battle, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor O'Connell. Also, thank you to Antioch High School administration, to the students, to the faculty and staff for everything, the families for everything they did yesterday in our response and as we're responding moving forward. We're going to do everything we can to support our students, our families, and our staff during this extremely difficult, these extremely difficult times. As the mayor mentioned, we have opened a community assistance site at the Southeast Community Center. It will continue to be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Today. And we are providing grief counseling services, hot meals, food boxes, and receiving feedback around other needs from our school community. We've already will be an important way to support the families of the victims who are grieving this tragedy, as well as the entire Antioch High School community who could use some additional support over the coming weeks and months as they process this event. These are heartbreaking days for all of us as educators, for everyone at Antioch High School. Quite frankly, this is a nightmare for us. We already know that this reinforces how important it is for us to know our students, build relationships, and foster trust. Our students need us. We know that after an event like this, tensions are high, and many rumors have been circulating about threats to other schools. Please know that we continue to work closely with MMPD to investigate all threats. We ask parents and students and community members that if they see something, say something to a trusted adult, such as the school administrator or the police, but not to circulate or spread every day to make them even safer. I have been in close contact with the mayor, MMPD leadership, district leaders, our school board, and our school safety and operations teams, Antioch school leadership, and others regarding what happened at Antioch High School, what we need to do to support students and staff in the short term, and what steps we can take in the future to add to our existing safety protocols. While we have some next steps regarding safety at Antioch and across the district, we are still working to firm up our plans and will announce once those details are finalized. We are grateful to everyone in our community who is supporting our students, our families, our faculty, and our staff. We thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Hal Cato, CEO of the community.
I had sincerely hoped after we had to do this less than 2 years ago at another school that we would not be back in this place talking about activating a fund like this, but here we are. As of yesterday, my team at the Community Foundation has activated the new Nashville School Violence Support and Healing Fund that will be designed to support faculty, students, and family members that incur any kind of violence on school grounds here in Nashville, obviously starting today to benefit the Antioch school community. The Antioch school community. The site is live now. We'll be leaning on our friends here on this platform as well as United Way and others to spread the news, because we do want to raise as much money as we possibly can. Funds will be going directly to victims' families, to those who are injured, and to faculty and other students who are experiencing a lot of emotional trauma today and will for many months and years to come. We'll be working with Dr. Battle and her team to set up a committee of Antioch parents and community members. They will be responsible for deciding how the funds are distributed. Unfortunately, we still have this playbook from Covenant that we can lean on to help this process go smoothly, and I am downright
a lot easier than it was yesterday. The event that's so heartbreaking as this. As it was mentioned, unfortunately, this is not our first time dealing with this. So one of the things that we are very much concerned about is the mental health of course, the high school and all the faculty, but also for our responders. We've done a lot to make sure that they know the resources that we set up within each individual department, that they can reach out for help as well, because we are parents and we are citizens and people that care about our community as well. But also the picture today is to show, remember, asking for help doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you refuse to give up. So don't be afraid to ask for help. All of us, every one of us, from the responders to the parents to the students, the faculty members, they're here, and we want to make sure that you are aware of them, and don't be afraid to reach out, because again, reaching out and asking for help weak, it means you refuse to give up. Also, I want to just thank all the partnerships that we have today. We really support the support from the mayor's office. It really makes this go a lot smoother. As you can see, multiple facet resources that come from multiple agencies, and that's what, if you want to do something that you are compelled to do, then please reach out to the fund that's been set up. It's a great organization, and it will those who went through this horrific, terrible event. So again, thank you.
Thank you to everybody, and then we'll take a few questions here. I do want to reiterate that we can't speak on the investigations. We were to refer those inquiries to the police department, but I'm happy to field the question and direct it to the appropriate person.
Dr. Battle, we too have been hearing from a lot of Metro School parents, just like you have, and members right now. Why don't Metro schools all have metal detectors in their school entrances, or at least all the high schools in Metro?
Yes, as a product of Metro Nashville Public Schools and as a parent of Metro Nashville Public School students, I understand the questions. We've been talking for decades around increasing and enhancing the safety and security of our school buildings, and so this is not a new conversation. As I mentioned earlier, historically spaces. I have worked and learned in the various schools that we're referring to today, and so it's been a balance, right? We know that relationships matter most for our students, and so we've tried to create a balanced approach of creating safe, secure. The last several months and years, as we've seen a heightened sense around the safety and security in our schools, both with external and internal threats, we are continuing to research and study the most evolving technologies that will help us enhance the safety and security measures within our schools. So there's not anything that's off the table for us. We will continue to dig into those resources, and when possible, from investment and timing and all those other things, we will continue to balance the things that have been working in our schools and creating opportunities for new safety and security measures to be implemented across our high schools and across the district.
I did also want to ask you just one other question about whether the shooter had a previous threat assessment on file with him at the school. I understand Metro Schools has said that FERPA restricts what you can say about that. But there are just so many parents out there right now looking for the answer to that question. They're concerned about whether the answer to that question can help shed some light on how something like yesterday could have happened. There are thousands of parents out there listening to you right now. What can you say to those parents who desperately want those questions, this shooter's history?
Absolutely, and our goal is to communicate and to be transparent in our communications with regards to this incident. As we all know, this is an ongoing investigation, and unfortunately FERPA laws do prevent me from sharing the details around the student's behavior and care, given the student being a minor. And so thank you for your question. With the ongoing investigation, I'm unable to explicitly respond to that question at this time.
Are there any security measures in the short term that the district is implementing at any schools, including Antioch?
Yes, we are in the process right now. As I mentioned in my opening statement, we're working on plans right now around how we're going to enhance some of those safety and security measures. As we can all imagine, a lot of that will be in play at Antioch High School once they do resume operations, and then we're looking at what that looks like across the board in our MPS high schools. We're considering all the best research-based strategies, lots of questions around weapon detection systems and other strategies strategies that school districts have leveraged in some form or fashion across the country and also across the state of Tennessee.
Dr. Battle, do you still have confidence in the AI gun technology?
We still have a high confidence level around all of our safety and security, and also from the security standpoint. With any incident, and particularly a tragic incident like the one we experienced yesterday, we will continue to have our debriefing scenario, strengthening those measures across not only Antioch High School, but our schools across the district.
And following,
can you please explain how those security measures work specifically? The weapons detection system, how does that system work, and why in this case did it fail?
Sorry, Sean Bruce, the Chief of Communications Technology. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the investments. We've talked about this in the media before, and there are videos online that show how OmniAlert works. And essentially, it ties into our existing network of cameras, and it uses AI technology to detect weapons. And so it has been activated before. Typically, it has been when a police officer has a weapon, or there have been realistic looking toy guns like water guns and other things like that. In this instance, based on the shooter's location in proximity to when they brandish their weapons. So it's not, there's no foolproof solutions for any of this, but this is one extra step. And so this kind of gets to some of the other active shooter incidents that have happened in the past where people have approached with assault rifles and other weapons, and so that's one of the measures we've taken along with shatter-resistant film and other things.
For parents that ask about this situation, I mean, when you say, our schools are equipped with weapons detection systems, but in a situation like we've just seen, they don't work, what is your answer to parents who are asking, what do we then tell our kids when they ask us, am I safe to go back to school?
Sure. So we've tried to explain sort of what the capabilities of these systems as they've been installed. This is designed to capture things that are on camera. And so, we wanted to have a system that worked on multiple cameras throughout the network. It does work, but it's not going to work in every instance, in every spot, based on where that weapon might be visible. So that's why we have additional safety and security protocols. We have AI systems to get into the front door, so you have to check in. We have security vestibules. We have shatter-resistant film. We have SROs. We have safety and security drills and plans. So it all works together as a system, but one system alone is not going to keep people safe. And there's also just the general public concerns around how a 17-year-old has a weapon. I mean, these are questions that are beyond the scope of Metro schools, but need to be addressed by the broader community. But we are doing what we can as a district to install and equip our schools with the safety protocols, resources they can use to be safe.
How often are those real person? I think the question everyone's trying to ask here is, what could those systems that were in place, or what should those systems that were in place have been able to prevent yesterday?
Yeah, so this was a situation that happened extremely quickly, and obviously the police can get into the more details about that, so we don't want to get into all the aspects of the investigation. But there were definitely students there were SROs in the building, and so it is designed to activate immediately once it detects it. As we described, it did not detect that weapon location and where the cameras were positioned.
Dr. Battle, you said that metal detectors have an unintended consequence. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, there are plenty of research papers out there around the impacts, the pros and cons of having weapon detection systems in schools and metal detectors. I'm happy to share some of that literature. But there are lots of unintended consequences, mainly when you think about the types of learning environments we want for our students. I mean, the first person we want our students to interact with are their principals and their teachers and their fellow students. There's lots of data around the tracking behind the metal detector systems. We also know that there's no system that is 100% going to capture everything that a person may have on them. And so there are pros and cons. That is something we continue to weigh out. And as Sean just shared, that's why you have to have a comprehensive, multi-layered approach to your safety and security measures within the school system.
I have a question for Mayor O'Connell, please. Hi, Mayor. Nicole Valdez, CBS News here. You mentioned online rumors circulating about this, and I know Dr. Battle mentioned that as well. You've been outspoken in the past about some of the extremist groups that we've seen present within the city of Nashville, and there's some very concerning writings that have sort of been linked and mentioning some of those groups here. Do you have any thoughts on that, and whether the city of Nashville is monitoring any activity in regards to those groups and how we can sort of prevent that sort of online situation that seems.
Online, I know that there have been people talking about a lot of different things about, first and foremost, we have been focused on crisis response and then now the recovery effort, including today's fund announcement. And then beyond that, I will say our Metro Nashville Police Department, as you could see yesterday in the immediate response, has a great connection to state and federal partners, including State Department of Homeland Security, ATF, THP, TBI. We know that they are constantly using intelligence, and Chief Drake would probably tell you, and again, I'm not going to be able to get into details of the investigation today, but Chief Drake would very likely talk about steps that they take to prevent scenarios like this as best they can, and then they respond quickly in those scenarios that's important. It's one of the reasons our office recently, in partnership with our Metro Council, established an Office of Youth Safety. We want to make sure that we are keeping communications for young people in scenarios where they are not victims of predation or scams or falling into scenarios where they could be easy targets for recruitment into networks like that. But we've also advanced at a local level, updated legislation. Similarly, we're tracking some state legislation this year that should further improve that and enhance that. And so I want to emphasize, though, the close working relationship and partnership and collaboration between our Metro schools and Metro Nashville Police Department. And as mayor, I'm making sure that both of them have the resources they need to continue to improve safety in a challenging environment where the availability of guns is just simply profound.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.